Hey, welcome to another edition of Kyle Meredith with the interview series presented by WFPK, WFPK.org, Consequence, and the Consequence Podcast Network. Thank you so much, as always, for making your way here, checking out the series. You know what you do. If you like what you see, like what you hear, hit that subscribe button. I put out 3 new interviews every single week, so it's a great way to keep up with all of your favorite artists. I got to tell you, one of my all-time favorites I'm so excited to be talking with, Roger Taylor. You know him as what? The drummer of Queen, and a songwriter and a producer, and now with another solo record called Outsider. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you, Kyle?
I'm doing great. I'm sure I could have done a few more multi-hyphenates on there for what you do these days. But
I don't know. What do I do? I don't know. Yeah.
You've got this really fantastic new solo record that I feel like you have been building up to for a little while called Outsider. Which collects a few of the singles I think that you put out in the last few years, and there are new songs on here as well. I feel like I should start with the low-hanging fruits. Who is the outsider? Is it you, or are we talking on a broader scope here?
Let's say I'm an observer, but yeah, I think everybody's got a little bit of being an outsider in them. You know, you can't always be in every team, and I think, you know, especially at school days and stuff, everybody's experienced maybe not being the most popular person or the whatever, you know, and being on the outside a little. And so this is for them.
I know, especially, I think back when, you probably got started in rock and roll. And it's, back then rock and roll was especially the outsider culture. I think it was looked at. And when I listened to the record a little bit, of course, you get that song "More Kicks," which leans into the rock and roll life. And I didn't know if it, those kind of spoke together a little bit.
Absolutely. I think Queen, when we started out, we was kind of outsiders a little bit. We weren't exactly conforming to the norms of the day. But yeah, More Kicks is really about, I suppose it's a little bit of me in there, being young and stupid and feeling no pain and feeling no shame, and he just wanted more kicks.
Is it a cautionary tale?
It's a rock and roll song, about rock and roll rebellion,
Yeah. No, is there much of a cautionary tale in that, or would that character even listen?
No, not at all. Let's enjoy. Let's enjoy. Yeah. More kicks, please.
I should say that comes after this beautiful opening to a song called Tides. And I feel like this does set the mood for what we get, this journey that comes throughout Outsider. Especially you get a line in there that says, all the things that live someday must die. And you think, well, that's a hell of a way to kickstart a record right there. But
yeah, it's not a laugh a second, that one, is it? But as you say very accurately, it was meant to set the mood for the album. Kind of reflective, really saying, I wrote that by the sea. I live by the sea some of the time. And the only real constant, because the weather sure isn't, is the tide and the tides. And there's this absolute constancy about them, which sort of contrasts with everyday life, And that's kind of setting up the album in a kind of reflective mood.
Yeah. Was there any reason why you think the reflective mood hit so hard on this album?
I think because maybe at my age, I'm older, and one reflects a lot as a TikTok, and not the not the whatever it is on the internet. Oh, right. The TikTok, as in clock. Clock is ticking, and mortality is an overriding concern for all of us. We're all in the same boat here,
Yeah. Well, it's not all. It's not all mortality that comes through here. I mean, there's so many different moods that goes through. First off, I also should compliment you on your sense of melody. It is so strong. Where does that come from? Did you always have that, or was that something you developed over time?
I think it was always central to Queen. It's kind of old-fashioned to say it, but we always liked a tune. And I think I'd like to think that there are plenty of good melodies there. I think melodies, I mean, they're at the heart of popular music anyway, really, they should be. It's not all repetition and it's, you know, et cetera, et cetera. A good tune goes a hell of a long way, and especially in terms of longevity. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you do pull it off. I had actually written down here, there's one of the songs, We're All Just Trying to Get By. Yeah. How strong it was. And there was you know, I've got a couple Bowie pictures behind me here too. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of something that he might have pulled out there. I don't know if that's just me hearing that or if that ever crossed your mind.
Well, I think about David a lot because, you know, we were friends, and he was such a genius. He was such an incredible talent. I love him, but I wasn't thinking of him at the time. No, I was just thinking of everybody on earth is just trying to get by, you know, in their own way and in their myriad ways. And then you can extend that to every single creature, every plant, including the COVID virus. They're all trying to proliferate or survive. And it's just a sort of a reflection on that, really. You know, come on, we're just trying to get by, you know.
Yeah. Probably the obvious question here. I know, again, some of these songs predates the pandemic or anything, but for the songs that weren't, how much effect did that have on these songs? Did it play the direct part of it?
Absolutely. With some of them, as you say, some of these songs were written before the pandemic. Journey's End, which is a sort of again, it's towards, you know, approaching the end, but in a positive way. But like Isolation, for instance, was direct result of being locked up, you know, or locked down. Felt similar, really. So that was really, we got to just sit back and deal with this until it's gone away, and then we'll think how to deal with it anew. But so yeah, that was a direct result of the virus and lockdown. We had a very serious lockdown, and we just didn't know what was going to happen next. You know, were we going to get the food? You know, when's it going to be over? Is it going to be over? Etc. It was, I think, in Europe it was very serious, and I think I really felt for people in Milan. You know, locked up in a one-room apartment. You know, that was a scary time.
Yeah. It's interesting too. I mean, obviously to have it cataloged here on a record, I mean, because I think we all hope at one point we'll be looking back on all of this. It won't be so much the present, you know, and to have it here in the songs as part of.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. We all want to be looking back. We're kind of starting to look back a bit on it now. I have to say, I really don't understand anybody that doesn't want to be vaccinated. They must be ignorant and stupid. But there we are. It's a clear-cut case. Vaccinations have been with us a long time now, and they work.
Yeah.
So please get vaccinated.
I'm going to pick up on a couple of the words there, ignorant and stupid, a little bit, and I'm throwing my own in here because a bit of the centerpiece of this record are Gangsters Running the World, which gets two parts here. And again, I believe both of these go back a few years, right?
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do. It's 2.5 years or something, I think. But I just thought the sentiment, I believe that sentiment, and you might as well say what you believe, especially at my age. I'm entitled to, as we all are. And there are gangsters running the world, it seems to me. But I did. There's the melodic version, and then there's a sort of hard rock version, which for some reason we called the purple version. I don't know why, but I was thinking of the Purple Gang in Detroit, but I don't know why. That's a bit tenuous, that link, you know.
I love both the versions. You've done that in the past. You've been a part of that. I have a couple of the Queen radio sampler, first wave and second wave on my shoulder, and it was always that BBC version of "We Will Rock You" that was more of my taste in that hearing. Like when you wrote this Gangsters song, like I mean, I don't know why. How did it end up like two different? Did you obviously know like this is sort of the same thing, but let's try it differently? How did it end up like
Yeah,
that?
well, I just thought it's a good title. I believe in it. I've got these two ideas. I'll do them both. You know.
Yeah. Well, we certainly had a gangster running the world over here for a few years, and
Yeah, you sure did.
times have changed on that. You weave that in with your past and present too, because there's a song in here called "Foreign Sand" that I feel like probably speaks a lot to what we're discussing. This is
Yeah.
a song that originally goes back to 1994. So I'd
Yeah.
love to hear the story on that one because you've resurrected that to be a very relevant moment here on the album.
Well, yeah, I did it originally with an artist very famous in Japan called Yoshiki, um, who actually lives in LA, or he did then. And we wrote it together. He wrote the music, I wrote the words and the melody, and we recorded it together. But he's a great pianist, and he's also a drummer. And I really thought I would do a simple version of this song. It was a very heavily orchestrated version before, very long and very quite sort of florid. And I just thought, well, maybe we get to the kernel of this song, get to the nub of it, and just do the song as simply as possible. It has a simple message. Why do we fear what we don't really know? And just make it simple and put it out there with just an acoustic guitar and a voice. And it's a very different version.
Mm. I was trying to, kind of draw those lines past and present. Do you remember if it was like 94? I was thinking like, of course, the big thing in my life then was just seeing the Iraq war on TV. Like, was there anything specific that kind of had you all write that song?
Do you know what? It's a while ago now. I guess I performed it in Japan with Yoshiki, and I don't know. I think it was Foreign Sand, and people are so afraid of what they don't know, anything foreign to them, and I don't know. I can't remember the exact. It just seems to be a fairly universal truth, really, and don't fear what you don't know. Just try and find out a little bit more about it. I can't remember though exactly where the idea came from.
Yeah, well, it is. It's unfortunately that relevant statement that we see all the time here. I mean, it's
Yeah.
Unfortunate, I think, is the word I keep coming back to. And I think that the song is beautiful, by the way. Just the sentiment that
Oh,
we have to keep replaying it.
thank you very much. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I do appreciate that.
I'll quickly hit one more track on here just because it's so damn fun, and it's one of the most surprising moments. And I'm talking about the clapping song, which
Yeah.
goes back away. What's this is this is an older song. This is a cover. What how did this end up on the record?
Well, I think I loved that song in the 60s when it came out. I think it's like 65, something like that. 60. Shirley Ellis. And I remember just thinking, oh, this is so catchy, and it's like a playground song, and I just thought it'd be fun. I had a very old drum kit which I just bought, a real vintage kit called a Trixon Telstar kit with very strange shaped drums in it, and calfskin heads, and it sounded so old fashioned and very 60s, and I sort of started it with that and just had some fun with it, really. And I had some friends put some horns on it, which was great, which gave it a good organic feel. And I just had a lot of fun doing that song. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, the recording wise, I mean, it doesn't exactly sound like one of those songs you can pull off so easily live in the studio. Is that one of those that's just really built from the ground up?
It is, but it's difficult to get the feel on that song. And there's this sort of bell thing that goes along all the way through it, just to try and make it swing. It's got to kind of swing, that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. Like I said, and it's just the balances that come throughout this record. Like I said, it's so interesting how you've kind of made the journey from the top. And as you mentioned, it actually ends with Journey's End, so no pun intended right there, which ties back to that beginning with Tides. I mean, it's the full circle moments, I guess, on this record.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, that's the way I look at it, and I hope other people do. Yeah, it's a very sort of final song, isn't it?
Are we better off at the end? I mean, are we in a good spot?
No, I think we're sailing off into some mythical sunset in a great mood. We're flying high. Yeah.
Oh, it's like I said, it's really just beautiful. I will quickly ask. Let's see, the solo tour. You've got dates coming up, right?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm just starting to plan it now. Really, put a great band together, and it's going to be a fun tour of UK at the moment. Mm-hmm. But of course, Queen are out again in Europe, May, June, July next year. It's been postponed twice. And we're very much looking forward to going out. We were really on a high down in Australia and Japan and New Zealand when COVID hit, and we just made it back. And we'd like to continue that high with Adam Lambert, who we really love performing with. He's a joy.
Yeah, I was listening to the live album you guys put out of different dates around the world.
Yeah.
Man. Just hearing you all, I mean, it sounds so good. I mean, the level that you guys are playing at, it's great.
He's very special. He's one of your very finest.
Are you all talking? I know the 50th anniversary is coming up. Are you all starting to discuss that and what that's going to look like for the camp?
Well, Brian and I were trying to ignore it actually because it makes us feel very old. But there are older bands out there, I guess. But
yes, there are.
Yeah. No, we weren't really going to celebrate it, but other people kind of want to.
It's important. The fans. I mean, I'm a huge fan. I would love to see whatever it means, for you all to do. I would love to see. The marked. I mean, it was 30 years ago this year that the show must go on. Actually, that song arrived on an album, and I feel like that's been the sentiment this whole time. So
yeah, that's a scary thought. That really is a scary thought. Yeah. Anyway, the show has gone on. Absolutely,
and it has arrived at the moment on this fantastic new record, Outsider. I cannot compliment you enough on how much fun I've had listening to this. So, Roger, congratulations.
All comments received gratefully. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you so much for taking the time to talk about it. It's been a real pleasure.
Absolutely. My pleasure too. Thank you.